Well, a very good afternoon. Thanks for clicking on to the Sunday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. We have seen a very wet and windy day across many parts of the British Isles. Temperatures yesterday 13.5 in Aberdeenshire. By the time we get out to tomorrow morning, we're going to be talking about temperatures close to freezing and wintry showers back in the game once again. But certainly interesting weather brought by Storm Doris. Happened to be my birthday, and it happened to snow. And it's amazing actually looking back in previous years and through the 34 years of my life, it's amazing how many times it snowed on the 23rd of February. Only a couple of years back, I was driving up to Fort William, almost got stuck in Glencoe. I lay in my bed back in 2005 on my birthday with the flu, and there was a good 6 inches of snow on the ground. So February 23rd seems to be a snowy day. Um, so just an interesting thought that I thought I would share with you. But certainly we are going to see the return of colder air once again through the course of this afternoon and this evening. Very wet and windy weather associated with a frontal system, associated with an area of low pressure that is to the northwest of Scotland. That is essentially Storm Ewan, named by Met Area, not the Met Office, because of the concerns for disruption and damage across the Republic of Ireland. I still think, even for the Republic of Ireland, this storm, I don't really think qualifies for a name, to be honest with you, but that's just my opinion. But certainly it has brought some fair amounts of rain, gusty winds in excess of 70 miles an hour in some places in the western UK as well as Ireland. But the main story through the course of tonight will be the colder air pushing in. Wet ground after today's rain means we are going to see ice across many areas, particularly across the northern half of the British Isles. But you see here off the GFS, this is the 850 millibar temperature profile. Cold air from Greenland now making an approach on the UK as I speak, and that colder air is going to come in. Low pressure still spinning around over the next few days. The first few days of the week means that with the colder in place, low pressure, we're going to get wintry showers. We're going to get rain, sleet, snow, hail, thunder, lightning, a big mix of different weather. The reason why at this time of the year with colder air, the sun angle is that bit stronger now. If you notice here, when you've got no wind, the sun feels relatively warm out there, and that's because the angle of the sun, of course, is getting higher and higher in the sky at this time of the year. Clocks are going back, are going forward, spring forward, fall back. The clocks will be going forward around about the latter half of March anyway, so we're really not that far away until we start to see a change. But doesn't mean March can bring winter weather, as of course you know all too well. But certainly this colder air is going to come in with the areas of low pressure pushing east, and then we do have a bit of a discharge of northerly cold air coming down on Tuesday, and we get more wet weather coming in from the Atlantic. But it's a kind of mix of cold, polar maritime air with that low pressure bringing wet and windy conditions. But we could also see a mix even down at low levels. We could see coverings of snow to low levels across northern parts of the UK during the early and middle half of this week. And then towards the latter half of the week, we get another push of cold air before a rush of milder air comes in. So let's skip through the sequence here. And you can see here that colder air, remember this is at 5,000 feet, pushing in across the UK. Low pressure coming down from the north, as you can see here during the day on Tuesday. That will reinforce the cold shock coming down with potential for wintry showers coming in. Milder air trying to push in. The reason why is we've got an area of low pressure that is making an approach in the northwestern half of the UK. In the warm sector, we've got that milder subtropical air coming northwards here. Then we've got another rush of very, very cold air coming off Canada. We're keeping our eyes on that, but the turbulent pattern continues to exist over the northern half of the Atlantic here. Very stormy conditions here. It has been for days on end now. Of course, we've seen a record-breaking snowfall measuring 51 centimetres at Reykjavik this morning. That was a new February record, and only 1957 or 55 centimetres of snow is on the ground. So this essentially, I believe, is the second greatest snow depth in Reykjavik on record, which is quite interesting. And that, of course, this follows what 11, 12 days ago, where it was the warmest temperature in February for the island of Iceland, the island nation. So what a weird and wacky February it has been. What a weird and wacky winter it's been overall. So you can see here as we continue to skip through, this is the middle part of next week here, that milder air kind of making an approach on the southern half of the UK. We could even get into the mid-teens, but cast your eyes further north, we've got the cold air still in place. Low pressure pushes through, cold air comes in on the backside of that during the latter half of this work week. Low pressure firmly in charge of the UK atmosphere, as you can see here. Nothing particularly mild, but cast your eyes to the southwest as we go from late weekend into next week. It looks as if this monster area of low pressure south of Greenland will pump warmer air back into the UK by the time we reach the early part of next week. So this is over a week from now. So certainly the bipolar February that we've got at the moment is going to continue into the month of March, I think. But just remember what I was saying in the March outlook, that with the stratospheric warming taking place, watch out latter half of March, we could get some interesting times to come. So I think I've rambled on long enough. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll be back in the next few days. Bye for now.